Hello and welcome. This is Greg French. Today we're going to be looking at operating systems. This is Chapter 2, Part 1 of our A+ computer repair series. Objectives. We're going to learn various operating systems. DOS, all the way to Windows 7, also Linux, Mac OS, Unix. We're going to be looking at quite a few. Learn how OS interfaces with the world. How does it interface with the user and how does it interface with the hardware? Learn a few OS tools that you're going to need to use to maintain the system. You're going to find that the OS is probably 99% of the problems that we as technicians have to solve. The hardware is pretty reliable today except for the hard drive and the power supply. Hard drives, again, mechanical. They heat up. They have a tendency to fail. But the software is a problem all the time. Windows has a tendency to degrade very quickly. And we'll be talking about how to maintain it. Introduction. A computer comprises both hardware and software. The hardware, it's physical. That's what we can see and touch. The software, though, this is the controlling instructions. We can't see it. It's in the form of instructions that reside on the hard drive. Computer technicians, we need to master both. Again, the software is something we really are going to focus on. Chapter 1 provided an overview of the hardware. Chapter 2 introduces the critical system software. OS past and present. What an operating system OS does. It manages the hardware. It runs applications. Provides an interface for the users. The users use the OS to manipulate or work the hardware. Retrieves and manipulates files. The OS is like a middleman. It resides between the user and the hardware. Takes instructions from the user and then implements those instructions on the hardware. The computer needs only one operating system. Here's a diagram of a user up at the top here. And she's operating an application, Microsoft Word. She has the operating system that is driving all the hardware down here. DOS, Disk Operating System. This is the first OS used by IBM computers way back in the 80s, where DOS can still be found. Specialized systems using older applications. You won't see it very often, but you might find an application that somebody just doesn't want to upgrade and it works well, so they might still use a DOS system. On troubleshooting disks and CDs, I use DOS every day for maintaining Windows. So I create troubleshooting disks or recovery disks that use DOS to control maybe the re-imaging of a Windows XP system. Do this in my lab. I've got 35 computers and I use DOS to maintain them. Windows 9 XME uses DOS in the underlying OS. When we went to XP in 2000 or the NT systems, DOS is only emulated. It's actually not part of the operating system anymore. Here's another diagram showing a user up here with the graphical user interface and then DOS as one of the underlying programs of this DOS system. Windows 9 XME combines the DOS core with the graphical user interface, designed to bridge legacy or older and newer technologies. Backward compatible with older systems, able to accommodate new technologies. Here you can see a bridge. I've got the older DOS systems bridging with the newer NT systems. The Windows 9 XME utilizing that bridge or creating that bridge. Windows NT. NT stands for New Technology. Windows NT, we end up with a desktop version and a server version. Best known features for the new OS core replacing DOS. DOS is no longer a part of the operating system. Avoid installing Windows NT. Windows NT created a lot of problems for the industry. We installed Windows NT Server, couldn't keep it running for more than 10 minutes. We suffered that for almost 6 months before they came out with an upgraded version. We came out with 3.5. It would run for about an hour. It wasn't until they came up with version 4, which was over a year later, that we could run it all day long. And still we were having problems. So not recommended to use. Windows 2000, great upgrade. Upgraded both NT on the desktop and the server. Improvements over Windows NT, more stable environment. Support for plug and play. We didn't have that before. When we installed new hardware, we had to do the configuration ourselves. Today, when you install new hardware on the computer, it automatically discovers it and configures it and starts using it. Device Manager, Recovery Console, Active Directory. These are some new things that were added. Better network support. That was very important for the technicians. Features, specifically targeting notebook computers. So notebook computers were added with Windows NT 2000. Windows XP, 2 main versions, the Home Edition and the Professional. Noteworthy new features. Allows 2 users to log on and open applications, so you can have more than one user operating it. Incorporates both Windows Messenger and Media Player. Adds advanced security, such as Windows Firewall. That was something that we had been waiting quite a long time for. Windows XP first came out, didn't have it, but it was introduced with Service Pack 2. The hardware requirements. 64 megabytes of RAM. We need at least 500 megs today. 1 gig is best. 1.5 gigabytes of free hard disk space. Probably need at least 10 gigabytes. 20 is better. CPUs probably need at least 1 gig on the CPU to run this efficiently. Here's the desktop. Huge improvement over Windows 98 and ME. Windows Vista, Windows 7. Vista is something that we're bypassing. We're going to go to Windows 7. Windows Vista seemed to be fairly sluggish, incompatible with a lot of applications, a lot of hardware, required all new drivers. Windows 7 has just come out, and we're anxious to see how it's going to perform. It seems to be a little bit better. It seems to perform a little bit faster. The only problem we're going to have is coming up with some drivers for all the different hardware and software that we're going to be using with it. It usually takes Microsoft about a year or two to get all the bugs worked out and get the drivers ready. So Windows 7 is something we're going to probably hold off on. We'll be looking at it, but XP will be our primary operating system for the next year or two, because I don't like to get involved with Microsoft's new products and become their beta testers, reporting the problems and bugs. I just don't have enough time trying to maintain what we have. Noteworthy new features, new graphic interface, revamped engine, new interface between it and the applications. Windows Server 2003-2008 refers to a suite of Microsoft operating systems. We got business versions, we've got storage, we've got web, standard, enterprise, and data center. They came out with a lot of different flavors, a lot of different versions. Not designed for the use on the PC. XP is our primary operating system for XP, or for the PC. Review. OS acts like a middleman. A real important concept to understand. We need an OS for the user to be able to manipulate or run the hardware. It becomes the middleman between the user and the hardware. Windows 9, 9X, 95, 98, ME, that had DOS as part of it. Windows NT removed the DOS. We have new technology, actually a brand new operating system. Had a lot of problems with it. It took a while for it to become mature, not until Windows NT 4 came out. Windows Vista, Windows 7. Vista is kind of operating system we're not utilizing, but hopefully Windows 7 will be our new operating system. It'll take probably 2 to 3 years before it becomes the standard, like Windows XP is now. Activities. I want you to explain why you might use DOS and where you might find it. Primarily, it's going to be used for maintenance, troubleshooting. Once you do some research, you'll find that free DOS is available too. But do some research and find out where DOS can be used and why. Explain why you might stay with Windows XP instead of moving to Windows 7 or Windows Vista. Also have a couple of labs. Labs 2.1, files and directories. Organizing your hard drive. Introduce you to what files and directories are and how to better order or organize your files on your hard drive. There are some review questions at the end. I want you to do them and turn them in. Lab 2.2, converting number systems. I'm going to introduce you to the hexadecimal numbering system. You've already been working a little bit with decimals and the binary system, base 2. Now we're going to introduce a base 16 numbering system, hexadecimal. Do some conversions back and forth. There are some review questions again I want you to answer and turn in. That's it for Chapter 2, Part 1 again in the A Plus computer repair series. The next will be Chapter 2, Part 2. Thank you very much for your time. Bye for now.